So hello everyone, today we are going to build the social applications API. So this is our frontend part, and today we are going to build our backend REST API. Here we can create our user, log in our user, we can follow user, we can unfollow our users, and we can update our profile, delete our account, we can do all of this thing, and we can post our content. We can update our post, and also we can like in our post, also dislike in our post, and we can comment in our post. We can delete our post, we can do all of this thing using this API. Let's start to work towards this API. So today we are going to build our backend API. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is let's go and create our new folder, and the folder name will be basic backend. And let's go here, and after that what I'm going to do is let's open our Visual Studio Code. So in order to start working towards our backend, first we need to add the npm in it, and it just give us this package. Then what we need to do is, if you are using yarn, then write a yarn add, and if you are using npm, then let's write a npm install. Okay, so right now I'm using yarn, because of this I'll just use yarn add. So let's add express. So what this express does is it help us to run our server. um, it help us to create a many API point as we want. So let's write a mongos. So what this mongos does is it help us to connect our server into the MongoDB database, and it also help us to create a schema, to create a user details, or to create a poster, all of this thing. Through these mongos, we are going to store our data into MongoDB. We can create a update and delete our user post or all of this thing through Mongo. So let's write a .env. So what this does env does is it helps us to create a different environment where we can store our secret keys. And let's write a mongo, a nodemon. So what this nodemon does is, whenever we changes something in our code base, and when we save this, it automatically refreshes our server. Okay, so that's the thing what nodemon does. So let's enter this. So wait a minute, it just installs some of the packages within the seconds. So now what I'm going to do is let's write index.js, and here what I'm going to do is let's write a const express. Let's write a require and express. So now what I'm going to do is let's write a const app and express functions. Okay, and let's write app dot listen 5000, and let's write a console dot log, and write a server is running. Okay, so now let's save this, and now what I'm going to do is let's write a node and index.js. Yeah, so our server is running. So now let's go in our package.json, and let's write a str start, and let's delete this, and let's write a node mon, and let's write index.js, and let's write a yarn start. Yeah, so let's go in our index.js file, and if I just write something like const sorry for that, const me scroll to summon, and if I save this, look at that, our server is refreshed automatically whenever we change this and save. Like again, I'm going to save this. Yeah, so it just refreshes our website. So these are the things what nodemon does. Okay, so now let's delete this. So now what I'm going to do is let's go here and write a mongoose dot connect. Okay, con connect. So here what I'm going to do is let's go in our web page and just search cloud.mongodb.com, and here you need to create your account, and after creating your account you will just go this dashboard and you need to click this connect. When you click this connect button you will get these four options and you need to select number 2, and let's copy this and I'm going to paste it here. And if our MongoDB is connected successfully, then what we need to do is then let's write console.log and write a db connection successful, or if we got an error we need to catch this error. So let's write console.log and let's write some error or CCURD occurred. So yeah, so we got this some error occurred. So yeah, so we didn't write our password here, so we need to remove this and we need to write our password, but I don't want to show my password. So what I'm going to do is I will just use our .env and here what I'm going to do is let's write a MongoDB and let's copy this and paste it here, and here I'm going to add our password. Let's delete this link and let's write a process.env dot our MongoDB Okay, so I got an error because I didn't import our .env. So let's write .env and let's import our .env and let's write a .env.config. Now let's save this, and okay, so our MongoDB is connected successfully. So now what I'm going to do is let's write a app.use and let's write a express.json. So what this express.json does, it help us to parse our JSON file. So now let's write models. After that what I'm going to do is let's write our router. Into our models what I'm going to do is let's write a user.js and inside this router let's write a user.js. Let's you know write a const mongoose is equal to require mongoose, and after that let's create our user schema and let's write a new mongoose.schema, and here let's write our user name. Let's write type and let's write a string. Let's write a required will be true. So after this username what I'm going to do is let's write our email and let's write our type. So our type will be string, and let's write it required will be true, and let's write a phone number. Let's write type, and let's write a number, and required will be true. After this, let's write a profile. Let's write a type, string, and let's write a required will be. So right now I don't think I need to write required, so let's save this. So now let's write a module exports, and mongos.model. Let's write a user, and write a user schema. So now let's save this, and let's go in our user.js, and here let's write a const user, and require express const user is called require, and let's import our model class user, and let's go here and write a module dot exports, and write a oh sorry for that, I try to write a router, and let's write here router, and let's write our sorry for that router. Now let's save this, and let's write a router dot post, and let's write create slash user, and let's write async require response. So now before writing our code here, what I'm going to do is I just miss out something in our module. Here I just miss out my password because we need a password. Okay, so let's write type string, and required will be true, and after this profile what I'm going to do is let's write a pending friend is friends, pending friends. Let's write a array, and our require will be, and let's write a friends, and let's write a type will be array, require will be true. But I think sorry for that, I don't need. Yeah, so everything is done here. Now let's go in our user.js, and here instead of a get I'm going to add a post. So before writing code, what I'm going to do is we need to install something. So we need to install Express Validator. Let's go here and let's copy this. Now let's write yarn add, and let's go here and delete this, and let's enter this. So wait a minute, it just installed. Yeah, so now let's delete this and let's write const. Let's write a body and let's write a, so let's copy this and I'm going to paste it here. And now what I'm going to do is let's copy this again, and after this let's paste it here and let's delete this. Again, let's copy this and paste it here. So username, instead of username let's write our email. Password must be a 6 word, and after that let's write a username must be 5. Okay, here what I'm going to do is let's write a const error is equal to validation result. Let's write a request and write if error is not is equal to empty, then what we need to do is let's write a return rest dot status 400.json and write some error OCC already occurred. Let's save this again, and after that what I'm going to do is let's check if this user is exist or not. So write let user is equal to await user dot find one. Let's write email required dot body dot email. If we have a user from this email, what we need to do is let's return rest dot status 200.json. Please log in with correct password. Let's write a user is equal to await. Let's write a user dot create, and let's write a username required dot body dot username, and let's write a email required dot body dot email. So let's write a password. Let's write a required dot body dot password, and let's write a profile. So required dot body dot profile, and after that let's write a phone number required dot body dot phone number. Okay, so now let's write a await user dot save. Let's write a rest dot status 200.json, and let's send our user. Okay, so let's use a try and catch. Let's cut this from here and I'm going to paste it here, and let's write return rest dot status 400.json, and let's write internal error occurred. Okay, so let's save this and let's go in our Thunder client. and let's create a new collection. So our collection name will be social, and inside this collection what I'm going to do is I'll just make a new request. So our request name is create user. Let's write http / localhost 5000 / let's go now. Oh, sorry for that. Let's go now index.js. Yeah, here's our index.js, and here what I'm going to do is let's write an API / user. Let's save this, and let's write API / user, and let's go in our user and copy this, and I'm going to paste it here. Yeah, so let's go in our body. So let's write our username. So our username will be Simon, and let's write our email. So our email will be fake@gmail.com, and let's write our password. So our password will be, let's write a random password, and let's write our phone number. So our phone number will be this, and let's write a profile. So our profile will be img.jpg. Now let's send this request. Okay, so instead of get, I'm going to add post, and let's try to send again. Okay, so I got errors. Okay, so I got an error because of this 2 slash. So we need a 1 slash here. Because of this I got a problem. So yeah, so we are successfully created a user. Okay, so let's go back, and what I'm going to do is, so if we write a password just like this, or if some hackers attack in our database and if we lose our password, then hacker can easily access our user ID. So what we need to do is we need to add a bcrypt functionality, so in order to do that, what I'm going to do is, so let's go in our Chrome again, and let's write a bcrypt.js, and let's click our first site, and let's copy this. So let's copy this, and what I'm going to do is right now I'm using a yarn. So because of this I just add yarn add. If you are using npm, then you need to copy this and paste it in here. So right now I'm using yarn. Because of this I just write in this way. So let's enter this, and now what I'm going to do is let's copy this, and I'm going to paste it here. Instead of that, what I'm going to do is I'll just write a const. Okay, so now let's go here, and let's write a salt. It's called to. Let's write await, and write bcrypt dot then salt, and our salt will be 10. Salt will be 10, and let's write a const. Yes, ec pass. Let's write a await, and write a bcrypt dot. Let's add hash, and let's write require dot body dot password, and let's mix our salt. So what I just did is I just create a random string, and in our password what I did is I just generate hash. So I just merged this random string in our password. Okay, so that's what I did. So let's copy this, and instead of password, what I'm going to do is let's copy this here and paste it here. Now let's delete this, and let's go in our database. Let's refresh this. Now let's delete this, and again let's create our new user. Okay, so it makes our user password more secure. Okay, so let's go back here. So what I'm going to do is, we need to create a JSON token, which means when we create our user, we will give them JSON token, and through this token, they allow to do, or they allow to post, delete, send a friend request, all of this thing through this JSON web token. Okay, so if you don't understand this right now, I will just explain to you on the way. So let's go and try to implement this. So what we need to do is, let's go in our Chrome, and here let's add JSON web token and just search this, and you got this JSON web token uh, package, and let's copy this, and here what I'm going to do is I'll just paste it, and let's delete this, and I'm going to add the yarn add JSON web token. So our JSON web token was installed. Let's go in our Chrome again, and let's copy this, and I'm going to paste it here, and let's write a const. Now we need a secret key, so let's write JWT SEC, and let's write some random text here, just like these kind of text. Yeah, so this is my secret key for our JSON web token, and let's go here, let's go here, and now what I'm going to do is let's write a const ACCESS access token, and after that what I'm going to do is let's write a JWT dot sign, and let's write ID, and our ID will be user ID, and sorry for that, user ID, and let's write a username, user dot username. Okay, so after that what I'm going to do is we need to put our secret key here, and through this secret key we assign this and generate our access token. Okay, so after this user, let's write an access token. Now what I'm going to do is let's go in our database and let's refresh this again. Now I'm going to delete this user, and let's create a user again. Let's create a user again. Yeah, so we got this user, and this is our JSON web token, and through this token we allow our user to post, delete, and update in their post. All of this thing will allow our user through this access token, and if they don't have access token, they are not allowed to do all of this thing. So if you don't know how this token work, I will explain you here. What happened here is, like, we have some algorithm. Through this algorithm we generate this string, and here is our payload data, which means this is our user ID, this is our ID, and this is our username, and through this username or ID we assign our data and generate this unique string, and then we have this secret key. So we have this secret key, and through this secret key we assign our access token and generate our access token. And if you don't understand what actually going on here, comment below. If you don't understand anything, I will just make another video for you about the JSON web token. So now let's make a login functionality. It's like login router dot post. Let's write async require response. Now what I'm going to do is I'll just copy this and let's paste it here. And again, what I'm going to do is I will just copy this and paste it here. So let's delete this username. Let's save this, and now what I'm going to do is I'll just copy this again and let's add our phone number here. Okay, so phone number, and our phone number must be 10 digit. Okay, so if we don't have, if our user mobile number doesn't contain a 10 digit, we are not allowed them to create their account. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is let's write a const user and await user dot find one. Let's write an email require dot body dot email. Let's write dot select our password. So we don't want to show our password string, so because of this I just write a select and plus password. But if our user doesn't exist, or this email doesn't exist in our database, what we need to do is let's write a return restore status 400.json, and let's write a user does not or doesn't found. Okay, now let's save this, and if we got this email address in our database, then what we need to do is first we need to compare our passwords. So let's write a compare compare password, and let's write await, and let's write a bcrypt dot compare, and through this bcrypt dot compare we are going to compare our require dot body dot password or this user password. Okay, but if require dot body dot password is not equal to our user dot password, then what we need to do is we need to return restore status 400.json password error. So let's save this, and again let's copy this access token, and we need to do the same thing for here. Here we are going to create our access token again through this user, and after that let's write a status 200.json, and let's write a user and our access token. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is let's try to try and catch. And here let's write a rest.status 500.json, and let's write internal error occurred. Now let's go in our Thunder client and let's make a new request and write a login. Let's copy this, and I'm going to paste it here, and let's add post, and instead of create user I'm going to add a login. And let's write an email. So our email will be fake gmail.com, and our password will be this random text. So let's paste it here, and again let's check our code. I hope everything is correct. So let's send this. Okay, so let's delete this, and here what I'm going to do is let's write const password, and let's write other, and after that let's write a user dot. Now let's write this other rather than user, and let's go here and try to log in. Yeah, so our password was removed from here, so we have user ID, username, email, and our pending friends phone number, or our profile, and our access token. So yeah, so we are successfully created our user and log in our user. So now let's go in our module, and here let's create another module. So let's write a post.js. Let's copy this, and I'm going to paste it here, and instead of user schema I'm going to add a post, and let's copy this, and instead of user schema I'm going to add a post, and let's delete this user, and I'm going to write a post here, and let's save this. And now what I'm going to do is, so let's write a user, and let's write a type, and mongos dot schema dot type dot our object id, which means we want this, so we want this user object id. Okay, and required will be true, and let's write our title, and after this title what I'm going to do is let's add image, let's add a video, image video, then let's add like, and this like, and let's write comment, yes, comments. Let's add array, let's delete this required, and in our like we have array, in our video we need to add our string, image we need a string. So in our comment what I'm going to do is I'll just write our object, and let's write our user, and our user will be type. Let's write a mongos dot schema dot object id, and let's write our required will be true, and let's write our username. So our username will be type will be string, required will be true, and let's write our title for our comment, or let's write a comment comment, and let's write our type, and type will be string, and required will be true. So let's save this. So our post schema was done. So let's go in our router, and here let's create our post.js. Let's copy this, and I'm going to paste it here, and instead of user what I'm going to do is let's write our post, and let's add post. Let's delete this here, let's delete it, or let's delete everything from here. Let's save this, and let's go in our index.js, and here let's add app.use API slash post. Let's write a const post, the router is called require module dot post. Okay, Now let's copy this post router and I'm going to paste it here, and let's save this and write some of the code here. Now let's build our middleware. So if you don't know what is middleware, well, when our user is logged in our applications, we will provide them access token. And through this middleware, we will check the access token is valid or not. If not, we are not allowed them to, post, delete, like, or comment. And if they have valid token, we will allow them to post, delete, update in their profile, and we allow them to like, dislike in other people's post, or we will check the user is logged in our applications or not. So let's try to build this. So first, what I'm going to do is let's write a verified token, and let's go in our user. I'm going to copy this to thing, and let's go back and I'm going to paste it here. Now let's write a const and verify token. Let's write require and response and our next. Okay, so let's write a const and let's write a auth token, I mean auth header, and require dot headers dot token. Yes, okay. Now if auth header, if we have auth header, then what I'm going to do is let's write const token and auth header. Let's write JWT and verify. So first let's write our token and we need to verify from our this secret key. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is let's write error and user, and now if we got error, then we need to return restore status 400.json and some error occurred. Okay, so let's write a required dot user, it's called the user, and next. Yeah, so else what we need to do is we need to return restore status and 400.json, and let's write access token is not valid. Okay, so let's save this and let's import this. So let's try module dot imports and our verified token. Yeah, so everything is done in our verified token. So let's go back in our post, and here I'm going to create our post. So let's write router dot post, and let's write user slash post, and we need to import our verified token, and let's write async, and let's write a require and response, and let's write try and error. And so here what I did is I just write a module instead of router, so let's write a router and let's save this. Okay, so I got error again, so let's go in our verified token, and here I just did this mistake, so let's remove this again and let's write this bracket and let's save this. And yeah, now it's work. So let's write let and title and image and video and require.body, and what I'm going to do is let's write a let new post, and let's write a new and post, and let's write a title and image and video, and let's write a user and require.user.id. And now here what I'm going to do is let's write await new post, and Now let's write a restart status and 200.json, and let's write a new post. So I hope it works. So let's go in our REST API, and okay, so let's write a title and let's write an image. Let's send this. Okay, so I got an error again, so let's go back and let's send this. And yeah, okay, so I got an error in here, so again let's go back and try to, yeah, so it worked. So let's remove this, and now what I'm going to do is let's write a default in our like and in our dislike, and let's write a return and rest.status 500.json, and let's write internal server internal error occurred. And now let's remove this and let's try get. Let's write uh, get post verify token, and let's write a async required and response, and let's write try an error again, try and catch, and here let's write const and my post, and let's write await and post dot find by id, and let's write a user and require dot sorry for that, required dot user dot id. Yeah, so let's write if my post, if I didn't have my post, then what we need to do is let's write return, let's write a restore status 200.json, and let's write you don't have any post. Yeah, so now if we have post, then what we need to do is we need to return our post. Okay, so let's write a restore status 200, and then let's write a json and my post. Okay, so in our error let's write a restore status and let's write a 500 dot, let's write internal error, internal server error. Okay, so let's save this, and now let's make a new request, and here let's write a get post by user, which means specify user. Okay, so now let's go in our post, and I'm going to copy this, and let's come back and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is let's copy this, and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so now let's go in our post, and I'm going to copy our this JSON web token from here. So let's copy this, and let's go back, and I'm going to paste this token here. Okay, so let's paste this here. Yeah, so now let's send this. Okay, so internal server error. Okay, so let's go back and let's see, let's comment this for now, and let's go back and try to do it again. Okay, so I got an error. Okay, so let's go now post, and let's try to find one. Okay, so again let's save this, and now let's go back and try to. Okay, so wait for a second. Yeah, so our MongoDB is connected. Okay, so we don't have any post, so let's go back, and here we got an error in our create post. Okay, so I just miss out something, which is let's try to const post, and let's try to await and new post dot save, and let's try this. Yeah, so instead of new post, I'm going to send this post. Okay, so let's try to post, and let's save this, and now let's create this post. Okay, so let's go back in our database and let's refresh this. Yeah, so I got a post. Now let's try to get. Okay, so again I got error. So instead of find by id, what I'm going to do is I will just write a find. Now let's save this, and let's go back again, and let's send this. Okay, so I got a post from our database. So now let's write a update user post, and let's write a router dot put, and let's write a update slash post, and let's write a verify token, and let's write a async and required and response, and let's write a id. Yeah, so now what I'm going to do is let's try an error, and let's write a const post and await post dot find by id, and let's write require.params dot id, and now let's write a if our post, if we don't have this post id, then what we need to do is let's return restored status, and let's write a 400.json, and let's write a post does not found. Okay, so but if we have post, then what we need to do is let's go here, and let's write a post, and let's write a await post dot find by id and update. Yeah, so let's write a required and params dot id. Then here what I'm going to do is let's write object, and let's write a set and required body. Okay, so let's update post and await post dot save, and let's write a restored status 200 and update post. Okay, so let's write return restored status 500 JSON and internal server internal error occur. Okay, so now let's make a new request and update post. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here, and let's add put, and now copy this, and I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to copy this id, and I'm going to paste this id here, and now what I'm going to do is I will just copy this JSON web token, and I'm going to paste this JSON web token here. And now I hope everything is done here. So let's write in our body, and title would be this is updated title. Okay, so now let's send this. So I got an error again, so let's comment this, and okay, so let's write let, and now let's save this. Yeah, so everything is done, so let's refresh this, and yeah, so this is updated title. So our post was updated successfully. So let's try it again, and let's write an image, and this is random image text. So let's save this, and let's refresh this again, and yeah, so you can see here this image. So everything is done for our updated post. So now let's write a router dot put, but maybe instead of doing adding a friend request functionality and doing all of this thing, it takes more time. So maybe what I'm going to do is save this. Let's go in our user, and in our user, let's go in our pending friends, and instead of pending friends, what I'm going to do is let's write a follow, and let's write a following, or here not a follow but followers. Let's save this, and let's go back in our user, and let's go here, and yeah, so now here what I'm going to do is instead of pending friend request, I'm going to add a following, and let's write a router dot put, and let's write a follower slash or following slash id. Let's write await or async, and let's write a rest request. And now what I'm going to do is let's write a if. Oh, we also need to add our verified token. So if required dot params dot id is not is called to required dot body dot user, then we can follow them. Or if our this forms id and user id are same, then what I'm going to do is let's write a return and restore status, and give it a 400.session. You cannot follow yourself. Let's save this, and let's go here and write our code. So let's write a const and user await user dot find by id. Let's write a require params dot id, which is this id. So params dot id means we will get this id from our URL. And let's write a const and write other user. Let's write await user dot find by id, and let's write require dot body dot user. Let's write if user dot followers dot include require dot body dot user. So if this user is not exist in our followers list, then what we can do is let's write await first, and let's write a user, and let's write update one, and let's push this user as a followers. So let's write require dot body dot user, and let's write await other user dot update one, and again let's push which is require dot params dot id. And after that what I'm going to do is let's write a return restore status 200.json. User has followed, else, oh sorry for that, else let's return restore status 400.json, and let's write you already follow this user. Okay, let's save this. So let's go in our Authentication line, and here I'm going to add our new request. So let's write a follow user, and now what I'm going to do is let's copy this, and I'm going to paste it here, and instead of get I'm going to write a post not a post but put method, and let's delete this, and let's go in our use again, and let's copy our following, and we need to create another user. So what I'm going to do is let's write a fake one, and this is our another user. So our user ID, so let's copy this user ID, let's go in our followers, let's go in our body, and let's write a user, and I'm going to paste this followers, and now what I'm going to do is let's log in this user, and let's copy this token, and let's write a token, and this is our value, and we also need our ID, so now this user try to follow this user. Okay, I hope you understand. This user try to follow this user. Okay, and let's click this. So yeah, so user has followed. Okay, so let's go in our browser, let's go in our user, let's check it out here. Yeah, so we got this here, and now we have this pending and friend. So what I'm going to do is I'll just delete this for now. Let's delete this user, and again let's delete this user, and I'm going to create our new user. So let's create a new user. So this is our first user, and let's delete this one, and I will create another user. Yeah, so this is our two user, and let's go here, and let's copy this, and I'm going to paste it here, and let's go back in our login, and let's copy this ID, so let's log in with another ID or another email. Yeah, so let's copy this user. So this user want to follow this user. Okay, so let's delete this ID, and I'm going to paste this ID, and let's send this. So our following process was complete. So what I'm going to do is, so we want to fetch post from our followers. Okay, so in order to do that, what I'm going to do is let's add a comment, and let's write a fetch post from followers. So we are going to fetch post from followers. So let's write a router dot get, and let's write w slash our ID, and let's write a verify token, and let's write async, sorry for that, require response. Let's write a try and catch or try and error, whatever you want to say. Let's write a return restore status 400.json, or let's write a 500, and let's write an internal server error. Let's save this, and let's go here. Now what I'm going to do is let's write a const user, and let's write await user dot find by ID. So this is our ID. Let's write a const followers post. So now what I'm going to do is we are using the promise here. So this is our promise. So let's write a user dot following, or not a this user but this user. user dot following dot, let's write a map, and let's write items. So let's return our post dot find, so our user item. And after that, here let's write a rest dot status 200.json, and let's write a following followers post. Okay, so let's save this. Now we are going to create our some of the post here. So what I'm going to do is, let's again log in. So not here, but I want to log in our fake at gmail.com. So we have followers here. So, and let's copy this, and let's go in our post, and I'm going to paste our authentication ID, authentication token, and this is our first post, second post, and third post. Okay, so now let's make a new request. Fetch post, and let's go in our user again, and here let's copy this, so let's write a token here, and let's go in our login and log in another fake one at gmail.com, and let's copy this, and we paste this value here, and again let's go in our login and let's copy this ID, and I'm going to paste it here. So let's send this. Yeah, so we have one post, two post, and three post. Yeah, so we got a post from following. So now we can follow our user, and we can see a post from our following. And now we want to make a system for our like and dislike post. Okay, so now we are going to make a functionality for like or dislike. So for that, let's go in our post, and here let's write a like and dislike. So now let's write a router dot put, and here let's write our ID and like. So let's write async, let's write require response, let's write a verify token. So let's write a const and write a post, let's write a await post dot find by ID, and let's write a require dot bottoms dot ID, which is our post ID. After that, what I'm going to do is if post dot like dot include require dot, sorry for that, if post dot like is not include this require dot body dot user, then what I'm going to do is let's write await and let's write post dot update one, then we need to push like require dot body dot user. Okay, then we need to return rest dot status 200.json, and let's write a post has been liked. Let's save this. Else let's write await and post dot update one, and write a pull like, and let's write require dot body dot user. And let's return rest.status 200 JSON, and let's write the post has been on like. Let's save this. Now let's copy this and paste it here, and let's delete this like and make it dislike, and let's delete this, sorry for that, let's delete this dislike and make it a like. So if, let's write a dislike. So if post dot dislike dot include, or if this user is not included in our dislike, what do I say? If post dot dislike dot is not include this user, then we just need to push it into our dislike, and else we need to pull it from our dislike. Let's save this, and instead of like, I'm going to add a dislike here. Let's save it. So our like and dislike functionality also done. So now let's go here and add a comment and make it a comment function. Let's write a verify token async. Let's write required and response. Let's save this, and let's go here and write a try and catch. And let's return restart status 500.json, and let's write internal server error, internal server error. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Let's try to try and catch. Let's write a return rest.status 500.json and write internal server error. So now first let's add a try and catch or try and error. Okay, try and catch. In our catch, let's add a return rest.status. Status will be 500.json, and let's write a internal server error. Let's save this, and here what I'm going to do is let's write a const, and here I'm going to add a comment, show ent comment, and let's write a post id, and here let's add a require.body. So let's write a const com ent comments, and here let's write a user. So our user will be require.user.useid, and let's write our username. So require.user.username, and I'm going to add our comment. So after that, what I'm going to do is let's write a const post, and let's find our post from post id, and let's write a post dot, sorry for that, post dot comments dot push, and I'm going to push our this comment. Okay, so let's push this comment, and now let's save this comment. In order to save this comment, what I'm going to do is let's write a await and post dot save. Now let's write a rest.status
200.session, and let's send our post. So now everything is done for our comment. So now what I'm going to do is let's make a new request, and our request name is comments, and I'm going to copy this and paste it here. And instead of get, I'm going to use a post method, and let's go here and write a token, and let's go here. Okay, so it takes some time to log in our user. Yeah, so I got our user and our token, so let's copy this token, and I'm going to paste this token here. Now let's write a post ID, and so I'm going to copy this post ID, and here we don't have any comments right now. We don't have any. So right now we don't have any comment here. So let's copy this and let's go here. And before that, what I'm going to do is let's write this and let's delete this, and let's go in our post. Where is our post? Yeah, so let's copy this and let's go in our comment, and I'm going to paste it here. Now let's write our comment, and this is our comment. Let's send this. Okay, so I got error. So not a user, but we need a post. Okay, so let's send this, and again we got error, some error occurred. So let's go in our post. Let's save this. Maybe our JSON web token is wrong, so what I'm going to do is let's go in our login. So I got error because our this user ID and our comment user are both same. So because of this I got a problem. So what I'm going to do is, instead of a fake, I'm going to add a fake. I'm going to add the fake one at gmail.com, and let's log in. Okay, so I just log in here. Let's copy this, and I'm going to paste it here. Let's save this and let's send this. And now I got my comment, and if I delete this comment, and this is ours, so let's send this again, and it takes some time. So we have two comments from the same user. So let's go back in our database and let's refresh our database. Yeah, so now this is our post, and now let's see we got this comment or not. Okay, so yeah, so we have two objects, and in our first object, let's see, this is our comment from this user, and second comment, this is our. Okay, so everything is done. We got our comment. So we have a like and dislike functionality. We can comment, we can post, we can update our post. So yeah, so everything is done in our backend. So maybe let's go in our user. In our user, we need to add a functionality to update our user details or user password. Okay, so for that, let's write our code to update our user details and user password too. So first, I'm going to update our user profile. So let's write our router dot what we need to put. We need to write a put, and after that, let's write a update slash ID, and let's write a verify token async required and response. So now let's write a try and catch, or try and catch. And here what I'm going to do is, if our required dot body dot password, if we have a required dot body dot password, then what we need to do First, let's add a const, and we need to create our salt for our password. Let's write await bcrypt dot gensalt, okay, 10 digit or 10 random string gensalt. And after that, let's write a const, just ec pass. Let's write await and write bcrypt, and we need to generate our hash, and let's write required dot body dot password, and we need to add our salt. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is let's write required dot body dot password, and let's add this. Okay, so instead of our word password, we are giving the user, or we are sending in a database the has password. I hope you understand. Mm. Now let's write a const update user await, and let's write a user dot find by id and update. So let's write required dot params dot, and let's write a set, and let's write required dot body. Let's write rest dot status, so our status will be 200, and let's write a JSON, and we need to send our update user. Okay, so in our error, what I'm going to do is let's return rest dot status 500 dot JSON, and let's write internal server error. Let's save this, and now let's go in our Thunder client and make a new request for our social. Let's make a new request, and our request name is update user details. Let's go in our update user details, and here I'm going to paste this URL, and instead of get I'm going to add put, and let's delete this, and let's go in our user, and we need our user. Okay, so let's go here, and I'm going to log in our fake one gmail.com. Okay, so let's copy this ID, and I'm going to paste this ID here, and let's go in our headers, and here let's add our token, and I'm going to copy this access token, now I'm going to send it. Okay, so we didn't change anything here, so let's change our password. So our password will be madankd, and now let's go. Okay, so I got an error, and let's write our password. So our password will be madankd, and let's send this. So let's go in our login and try to log in with this password. So I got some error, maybe what I'm going to do is let's go in our user, and here what I'm going to do is let's write await and write update, oh sorry for that, let's write update user dot, we need to save this. Okay, so now let's try to log in. Okay, so let's go in our login code. Where's our login code? Yeah, so here is our login code. So I got error. Okay, so right now I'm going to remove this, and let's try to log in again. Yeah, so we are successfully logged in this user account, and if I type a wrong password, so let's type it. Okay, so password error. Let's make a functionality to delete our accounts. Okay, so delete, user accountant account. So let's write a router dot delete. So let's write a delete id, and let's write a verify token. Let's write async and request response. Now what I'm going to do is let's write a try and catch, and our catch, let's return rest dot status 500 dot json, and let's write an internal server error, internal server error. So now what I'm going to do is if required dot bottoms dot id is not is equal to required dot user dot id. If our bottoms dot id or our user id, this logged in user id is not is equal to, then what I'm going to do is we need to return rest dot status rest dot status 400 dot json, and let's write accountant account does not match, else let's write await user dot find by id. Let's write a find by id and delete required dot body dot bottoms, and let's return rest dot status 200 dot json. Account has been deleted. So I hope it works. So let's go in our here and let's make a new request, and let's write a delete user. Let's go back in our update user details, and let's come back, and I'm going to paste this here, and instead of update I'm going to add delete, and instead of get functions I'm going to add delete. Now let's go in our update again, and let's copy this token, and I'm going to paste this token here. Now let's send this. Okay, so user account has been deleted. Now let's go in our database. Okay, so our user still exists. So let's go in our code editor again, and let's go in our user. Okay, so I just did a mistake here because we don't need this body, sorry for that. We need a required.body.id. Now let's save this, and let's go back and try to delete this. Yeah, so let's go in our database. And now let's refresh this, and I hope now our user is gone. So let's see. Okay, so our user was successfully deleted. So let's go in our delete use again. So what I'm going to do is, before update our user details, we need to check here if required.bottoms.id is equal to required.user.id. If yes, then we are going to update this, else let's return rest.status 400.json. You are not allowed to update this user details. Okay, now let's save this. So now everything is done. We can now create, update, delete our user, and let's go in our post. Where is our post? Yeah, so here in our post we can create a post, we can upload post. Okay, so we can get a post from specify user, we can update our user post, we can like, we can dislike, we can comment, and we also need to add a feature to delete our post. Okay, so let's try to delete post. Let's give it a router dot delete, and let's write delete slash post slash id. Let's write async, and let's write a try and catch, and in our catch let's return restart status dot json internal server error. And here what I'm going to do is, let's write if. First, what I'm going to do is we need to find post, so let's write a const post, and let's write await post dot find by id, and let's write require dot bottoms dot id, and in a post let's write post dot user scroll to. Okay, so we also need to add our verification, so let's write a verify token. Let's write require dot user dot id. If our post dot user equal our require dot user dot id are same, then we can delete this, else we cannot delete this post. Okay, so let's write a const delete post await post dot find by id and delete, and let's write require dot bottoms dot id. Write a return rest dot status 200 json your post has been deleted, else let's return rest dot status 400 dot json you are not allowed, you cannot allow to delete this post. Okay, so now let's save this. So now what I'm going to do is, let's go in our like and dislike API, and here what I'm going to do is, let's make a new request, and our request name is like, and let's go in our create a post, and here what I'm going to do is I will just copy this, and let's go in our like, and our method will be put method, and let's delete this user, and now let's go in our login, and I'm going to log in this account, and let's copy this, and let's create our new post. So let's create our new post, so let's copy this post id, and let's go in our like, and after that let's let's write like. Okay, now let's save this, and let's write a token again, token. And now what I'm going to do is I will just copy this token and I'm going to paste this token here. And instead of fake @gmail.com, rather than fake @gmail.com, I'm going to add fake one @gmail.com. And let's copy this token and let's go now like, and let's delete this token, and I'm going to paste this token. And so now let's go in our body, and here what I'm going to do is I will just write our user. So I'm going to copy this user and let's go now like, and I'm going to paste this like. And now let's click this. Okay, so post has been liked. So let's go here and refresh this. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so now you can see here our so this user liked this post. So what I'm going to do is I will just delete this default. Okay, so let's go in our module. What I'm going to do is I will just delete this default 0. Let's save this and let's cut this. Now what I'm going to do is I will just go again in our third line, and I'm going to duplicate this, and let's rename this, and let's write a dislike, and instead of like, what I'm going to do is I will just add dislike. So let's send this. So our post has been liked. Okay, so again I got a error here. So what I'm going to do is instead of like, I'm going to add our dislike. So let's save this. Now let's refresh this. So let's go now like, and let's go now dislike. So what I'm going to do is, so if this user already liked in this post, and if he clicked the dislike button, what I'm going to do is I will just pull this user from our like array and push this user into our dislike array. Okay, so in order to do that, what I'm going to do is let's go in our dislike first, and here let's write if I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. So if the post dot like dot include this required body dot user, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. Okay, so I'm going to pull this user from our like and push this user into our dislike. Okay, let's save this, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay, so let's copy this, and if this if post dot dislike dot include this required body dot user, then what we need to do is we need to pull the dislike and push this like, and let's delete this. So let's refresh this. So now let's go in our database, and I'm going to delete this post, and let's go and create another post. Okay, so now I'm going to copy this post ID, and let's go in our like. Now let's okay, so here I need to write a dislike, and here I need to write like. So let's like this,
Okay, so again I got error, so let's go back here. So let's save this again, and I'm going to do the same thing here. So let's save this again, and now let's go to our like and let's click like. Okay, so our post has been liked. So let's refresh this. So let's see here. Okay, so this user liked this post, so I'm going to dislike this again. So let's copy this post, and the same user try to dislike this post. So now let's see. Okay, the post has been disliked. Okay, so now let's refresh this. So now let's see in our like. Okay, now the user is deleted from our like array, and it just include in our dislike array. So okay, so everything is done. So if I want to like again, let's like it. Okay, so now what we need is we need this user ID into our like array, and we need to remove this user ID from our dislike array. Okay, so let's refresh this again, and let's see in our like. Okay, so we got this user in our like, and this user is removed from our dislike. Okay, so everything is done here.